Yo, just heads up. I got you live on stream right now. Not that really we have thousands of people watching or anything, but
Don't say all those things that I want to say. Wow.
yeah, no, watch your mouth.
Yeah.
No, but yeah, man. I mean, you know the drill, right? I normally aim for about an hour with these things, but yeah, I got some stuff to ask you tonight, man. I'm looking forward to chopping it up with you. Thanks for coming
That's
through.
it's great. I've been looking forward to it, man. Yeah.
Right on, dude. So I guess like just to start things off here. Well, here I always start. It would be weird if I started show 124 without telling people what they're watching. So, just like every other episode, guys, my name is Doobyis. This is Fly in Formation. Tuesday nights, I am here live on Twitch talking to illustrious artists from across the country every week. I've been blessed to be able to just reach out and talk to all of these people and, build relationships and, come up with all sorts of different questions to ask them and actually get the gratification of hearing answers back from people whose work I respect and enjoy. So this is Fly in Formation. My friend Fresh Kils is back. How you doing, man?
Good, man. Thanks for having me. Happy New Year and all that jazz.
Hell yes. There, I've muted out the music now. I was playing your album with Henry Canyons, which
Oh yes.
it's been out almost a year now, and like I just
Wow.
clicked play on the entire album, and I gotta say, man, I apologize. I slept a little bit. I think I played one or two tracks off of that, but I never got a chance to check out the full album. I guess I don't know. There's just a flow of new music every week, and
There's
sometimes
too much.
stuff gets lost in the mix. And yeah,
There's too much. You
right.
can't. You can't expect anybody. Listen, I've learned this too. You can't expect anybody to listen to anything at all. Anything.
Yeah. Well,
So.
you can't expect anybody to do anything, man. Expect the worst for the average person.
Yeah, and the algorithm is such that like even people like sometimes the closest people to you miss stuff, and you're like, "Holy crap! Like, how bad is my algorithm, or how bad is my marketing, or whatever?"
Well, it really is like for me in my specific case, which is a weird one. It's that I'm following so many people that like I'll see,
Yeah.
every week I get a release radar and I try my best to listen to everything on the release radar. So it's like 120, 130 songs a week. And
Oof.
so I'll hear one or two tracks from an album and then like the algorithm will push another track from that album the next week or maybe a week after that or whatever to me. Um and I do my best to like go back and listen to full albums when, I'm at the gym or like have time to just on a commute or something
Sure.
separately. But it's tough to keep up. So yeah, apologies though. I do
Yeah.
want to ask you about it though. Like who is Henry Canyons? Where did you guys link up? How did this happen?
um, he's a funny character actually. I originally met him through Prem Rock, and we were Prem Rock and I spent a lot of time on the road, and we were always looking for, you know, the two of us together were tight, and the money was always good. It was, we kept our costs down just traveling the two of us. We were always looking for good touring partners. Sometimes in order to hit certain markets and stuff. But it made sense in a whole lot of ways. Like Henry at the time when I met him was living in LA, and he's a Backwoods alum. So he was an early Backwoods signee and had a couple records out with them. Also had a record out on Jakarta, which is a really great label out of Europe, out of Berlin. And so he had kind of interesting little pockets, and he was just a hilarious dude. We had a really good time with him on a West Coast run with Woods.
Nice. Dude's got
Um,
bars, man. I was
oh yeah,
impressed. Yeah.
yeah, he's crazy. And Yeah, we had a really great. He toured with us in Europe a couple times, and this is how I put it, because I said this online, and I don't know whether you and I were going back and forth on this at all, but I get disappointed sometimes that people don't want to get funky with me. Like, people don't want to get funky. Period. Like everybody wants to be serious and dour, and you know, and I totally get that. And especially right now when things seem pretty serious. Like obviously maybe now isn't the time for fun records or getting funky stuff, but
I
I
saw
get
somebody
punked, like
say, sorry to interrupt, bro, but I was,
no.
with things as tense as they are just in the political climate right now, I think I like the quote that I saw somebody say the other day that we need the serious political music,
Yeah,
but we also need the escapism music right now. So
for sure.
it's definitely a time for fun music too, in my opinion. You know, it is
Absolutely.
weird putting it out though. In yeah, on days
It
when you never know what's going to happen that day.
it can feel weird. But I do lament that, like, because I'm a funky. I'm sorry to say I'm a funky dude. That's weird. But like I make funky shit. Like I love funky beats, and I've always been funky with my production. And so I have seen in my collaborations that people less and less like want to kind of go there. And so and Henry is like such a funky cat, and like he's got such a great pocket. And so I was really excited to work with him on that level because you know, we could get funky and kind of go there. Um,
There was, like, a
and
lot of, like, smooth vibes on this album, and, like, definitely some funk to the beats, but not, like, the happy, upbeat funk that, like, you know,
mm,
people might be thinking of, I feel like, at least
I
from my
guess
listen through just now, that was my impression.
smooth. I think it's interesting because I said this to a friend of mine that asked me about it, that you're sort of at the mercy of the MC in terms of A&Ring. So like
Mm,
if I throw the kitchen sink at at an MC of all my production, it's like what they pick is what they pick. And I don't love that, by the way. I don't think MC. I know this is controversial. I think I said this on your show last time. I don't think MCs should be choosing 100% of their beats. I think part of this is challenging one another to kind of go outside of our comfort zones, and I like to be challenged too, as anxious as I get about it. So yeah, so like, but definitely, I was more at the mercy with Henry than I typically was because he's very particular about the writing stuff. And um, anyways, but I was really happy with the way that it turned out, and we had a great release show in New York, and Premrock opened, and we had and like Blockhead showed up. Like there was sort of like celebrity cat, like people showing up to the show, and I was like, I'm still a tourist sometimes. Like it's not like I haven't been to New York a bunch of times, but
sure.
like Blockhead coming to my show in New York, like my inner child is kind of freaking out at that kind of thing, you know. So it was really fun, and the record turned out great.
Dope, man. Reception has been good for it, like, over the past year. How many times did you guys get to actually get out and push it live off stage?
Not a lot, yeah. I mean, I've had the year. I don't know. I've done 10 years of developmental experiences in 18 months, including getting married, buying a house, and having birthing twins. So like to be honest, the record to be I was kind of like I got to get this thing out and do everything I can in the next, you know, I think I gave myself a couple months. So I don't know, like response was really good overall, but like it's hard, one, it's hard to gauge. Um Sales of vinyl and other things are down, like just down
Yeah.
because everyone's kind of on their ass. So it's hard to gauge that way. Um and both Henry and I, you know, you go through that thing where both Henry and I are really busy, and I'm on the phone with Daryl from UrbNet, being like selling him on, hey, you know, like Henry's a backwoods alum. There's some eyes on us. Like this thing's gonna move, and then we put it out, and if it does or doesn't, like trying to make sure that he's as interested, and people are kind of pushing. It's hard, man. The back end of records is really hard for most people.
Yeah.
Um, I want to say the thing that would work for this record is like I was really thankful that Henry put like did a really good video for the single, and our guest spots were good. Our features carried some things. So like Solemn Brigham of Marlowe, you know, L'Orange, and like L'Orange and Solemn Brigham are Marlowe, and they're awesome. Like they're just that he's amazing. Obviously Shrapnel, it was
Yeah.
great, and
I really like the Shrapnel verse. That was dope.
oh yeah, and then getting them funky, like getting Shrapnel back to the funk is a little. Maybe that's unfair because they're funkier than a lot of backwoods cats. But and I just have to shout out like the Mike Ladd record. I have to talk about Mike Ladd for a minute because he's not known like he should be. But like that guy, we opened for him in Paris on a tour one time, and we spent almost the entire night backstage listening to him tell stories about, you know, he was LP's roommate for years. He was literally
Damn.
had a front row seat to Def Jux starting up. You know, he was in he was in all these seminal groups, and was a slam poetry champion. Had toured Europe extensively. Just one of those guys, supremely intelligent, supremely funny, like one of the funniest dudes. Crazy stories. He literally performed like a shanty during his set. That was like amazing. It was amazing. I was like, bring back. I'm like, who's doing shanties in 2020, whatever it
I feel
was?
like they went viral for a while on, like, TikTok videos, sea
Yeah,
shanties, but no, to
yeah.
get on stage and do a sea shanty, I don't think I ever saw anybody doing that. It
That's
was
what I mean.
yeah,
And
uh,
and so working with him, really, that was kind of a dream. And because I was a kid when I first heard him. Anyways, so and one of my favorite songs on the record too.
yeah, dude, solid album front to back, like, it's short or whatever, I think it was 8 tracks or something along those lines,
Yeah.
but yeah,
That's an
definitely
album, right?
deserves more ears on it. Yeah, no, I consider 8 tracks an album, and they weren't, like, short feeling tracks. Sometimes if somebody tries to do, like, 8 tracks and they're all, like, really 2 minutes long, it's like, "Okay, but it's only been 14 minutes and the album's done," you know?
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Then you might have to call it an EP, but, so dude, I guess the elephant in the room and probably where you expected me to start was congratulations. The twins are a new addition to the family and
Yeah.
you seem like everybody's happy and healthy from what I see on social media, so that's good. Last
Healthy.
last I talked well, last I talked to you, you had just gotten back from tour and it was I believe like God, was it right before or right after your marriage? I don't know. You were just about to get married or freshly married, maybe.
Yeah.
Uh,
Right. Yeah. After. Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, it sounds like things have been kind of a bit of a whirlwind over there. Eh, how are you finding, dad life and artist life mixing together? How's that go?
Not great. I mean, I feel like my identity is being eroded, obliterated. But I mean, that's not fair. But like, yeah, you definitely it's a reorientation, and it's a forced it's twins tyranny really here. So um
That would be a lot,
there's
man. Yeah.
there's joy. I mean, there's a lot of joy here, but like it's funny because everyone says congratulations, and everyone's like, "Oh my god, are you feeling a love you've never felt in your soul?" And I'm just like, "No, I haven't slept in a week. I'm in hell. Like what? Like this sucks."
Yeah.
But it's recently kind of stabilized a little bit, and
I mean, I'm not a father, but I think that the love you feel in your soul that changes you, that'll be a, like, retrospect thing. Like, when you're, 20 years from now,
yeah.
looking back at this, then you'll realize that, "Oh, okay, this was a love I'd never felt before," or whatever, right? But, like, yeah, probably being in it, it seems like sleep, is a big driving factor for a lot of the young parents that I have known.
Mhm.
Tough to get, and especially with 2, man.
You don't know how right you are though, because supposedly biologically our bodies release certain chemicals into our brain and bodies that make us forget the crazy bullshit, and especially with women, because a woman going through this wanting to do it again, I mean, you would have to be out of your gourd to even consider this. And so, and women do it,
Yeah,
and in fact, the human race relies upon such uh just caution into the wind. And so apparently there are biological reasons for this, that the chemicals get released that make you forget. Like part of ovulating is are these chemicals that, yeah, fuck it, like fuck everything. I mean,
forget the bad stuff.
men know
Yeah.
this feeling, right? Men know this, right? When our little guy is controlling our brain.
Yeah,
But
chemicals can be powerful for sure,
So
man.
yeah, so I'll look
Just
back, and I'll look back, and I'll be like, oh man, that was such a great period of time, and forget all the pain. But no, I mean, the good news is, and part of what made this, moving into the house and building the studio, that this is my basement, and
nice.
it was a lot of work. But I want to shout out Legit from Babylon War Child for helping, and King Just for the design, and DJ Versatile and my buddy Imus Murad for helping with the move and helping build this like beautiful space that thankfully is at most 24 feet away from me when I'm doing daddy stuff, so I have an escape.
Yeah.
And that is helping that's helping the balance, as to your question about, how's the balance going. I mean, it's tough, but having this beautiful space here really, really helps.
So let's talk about the space. Did you like, I've heard that you can get someone to come in and like tell you how to set up the sound panels and stuff. Those look like professional quality sound panels you've got going on there. They beat my little fucking foam thing stuck on the wall behind me. Uh, but did
I
you
gotta
actually have it like professionally treated or whatever it's called?
Insofar as our mutual friend, the incredible King Just,
Yeah,
is a professional, and also this is what I do have to say, like, he and I built these panels by hand. Um, During COVID, he literally studied acoustics, like took courses on acoustics. And when we built a studio together, my first studio outside of my apartment, at Sherburne and Bloor at the rehearsal factory there in Toronto downtown. And I basically was his assistant in building my studio. We went apt completely with his design, and this design is basically his. And it's been incredible. And it's funny because I'm I'm not necessarily an audiophile. Like, I am an engineer. I mix records for a living for sure.
sure.
Um, but I didn't know how much better my work could be with an acoustically treated space like this. And it's funny, like, it's to the point now, like, Just has ruined me to the point where if the door is open a crack behind me on the left, on the right, I can hear it. Like, I can hear the difference. Like, I can hear the sound. And I don't know if I can't hear sound escaping, but I can hear the difference acoustically.
So how
Uh,
important is it to have a soundproof, like sound treated room like that? Aren't you typically tapping pads with headphones on, or especially now with two little
I mean,
babies, isn't it?
well, well, okay, wait. So that's a few
Few
answers there.
questions in one, yeah.
One, how important is it for the mix of your record to sound good? I mean, it's as important as that, I
Okay.
suppose.
Are you mixing and mastering your own stuff there
Yes.
yourself? Oh,
Yeah.
okay. Sure. Well, then at that I see.
I'm mixing and mastering. I've been mixing and mastering professionally for, I mean, for 25 years. So, but it is funny that it took me that long to go, yeah, let me craft the space, and now
Yeah.
I can't live without it. Like, now, when I first moved in here and I set up the rig before we had everything up, I was like, I can't mix in here. Like, there's too many reflections, and there's a node over here, and this kind of crap. Like,
Sure.
honestly, I've been just has completely revolutionized my whole, thought process about it.
Nice. A lot of that just comes down to the ear. Did just go to school for like being a sound engineer or
Well, he took these classes on acoustics
okay.
and on studio build. I mean, I got to be honest. This is a question you're going to have to ask him
Yeah.
specifically, what he studied.
Sure. Yeah.
Um, but he had. I mean, we were down to the letter, man. Like, we did not. He was like, no leakage. Like, if there's leakage, it's not right. And stuff like my mix position has to be between 25% and 37% in the room. If it's further on either side, then the standing waves will catch things and there'll be nodes. Like,
Okay. Yeah.
we're down a rabbit hole here.
Whatever he
Uh,
studied, it sounds like he knows his shit if he's talking about,
it's totally worked too.
waves and nodes and whatnot.
I
Yeah.
mean, it's really worked. It's really worked in the sense that, like, I mixed my solo record. That might have been the first mix that came out of that studio design. The Mickey O'Brien records, the Henry Canyons record, I did mix it again. I did mix it again in the new space before it came out. So, yeah.
Nice,
So
man.
I mean, the proof's in the pudding, I guess.
Yeah. As far as soundproof, does it interrupt the rest of the house if you're trying to play stuff through speakers in there?
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a misconception. I had a friend call me because he's like, what do I tell my friend who has a dog kennel next door to do to his space to, like, keep the sound in?
Yeah.
The
Yeah.
thing is, this doesn't keep the sound from traveling out. It all it really does is tamper down reflections and things for my mix position to be as
Yeah.
even as possible. And
Stops
then
the sound from bouncing back, right? That's the
yeah, and
idea. Yeah.
you could see. You can't really see. Maybe you can.
Oh,
Maybe you see
nice
it.
space, man.
You can see. Okay, so you see how that there's that bass trap. This is like built. We built this. It looks so clean. It doesn't look like we built it because legit did such a good job. But this is a triangular bass trap in the corner
Nice.
that that captures bass from essentially reflecting, but you can't really stop. Like bass frequencies are so huge that you mass. There's no other way to stop bass from transmitting. So you just have you need like lead and
Yeah.
concrete.
I was gonna say, tell your friend to put concrete walls in between his
Yeah,
dog and his neighbor or whatever. That's about the only thing that's gonna stop sound like that.
yeah, that's right. That's
Yeah.
about as good as it gets.
So have you been spending a lot of time at home with the kids? Are you like, is it, you stay at home dad right now? Stay at home
I
music dad?
I can't go anywhere.
Okay.
I can't leave. Like if I leave the house, I leave my wife with two. So okay, so the math it works out like this: two people have one child, right?
Yeah.
That means one tends to the baby while the other gets groceries, makes food, does the laundry, recycling, garbage, all the other stuff. When you have two, even if you have three people, right? You're
Yeah.
down a man. You're down a set of hands. Like it's like the thing. I have a list. Like I have basically an unconscious list of things in my head that I can do with one arm. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah. Damn, man.
Like it's fucking it's twin tyranny, man. There is no escape. Um,
Can you make beats with one arm?
kind of, yeah.
Because one thing I was wondering, you know, was kind of like, okay, so you're at home often with kids, but like kids do sometimes sleep. So maybe this is like a good thing for creative people who are now at home. Can like, do you find a lot of time since you do always have to be home to chip away on beats and stuff? Like, I
Uh,
know I saw posts you said you're being
yes,
productive in 2026. So yeah,
yeah, yeah. Like I think I have. Well, look, I don't know how to put it because maybe overall I'm not as productive as I was. I can't be, but I'm surprising myself that I can do anything at all. Like if I get something done, I'm like, holy shit, I did. What's interesting about your question about sleep is, and this is the thing, twins is a different nightmare. It's a different layer of shit where you're like, okay, yeah, one is asleep, but is the other one asleep? Like it's not, it doesn't work
and is the
that
one that's not
way.
asleep about to wake the one that is asleep up? I
It's
don't imagine
like,
one stays awake by
yeah.
themselves for very long, right?
Well,
Yeah.
and you have to like this is something that we had to figure out. It's like because everyone's like, well, get them in sync, because if you get them in sync, then you can get shit done. But what's funny is if they're in sync, when they're both awake, you cannot do shit. You can't eat. You can't like you can't do anything. So
Right.
there's actually an advantage to having them out of sync at times.
One
But
baby gets to be nocturnal so that you guys can actually handle it. That's awesome.
I mean, I don't know. I don't know what we're gonna do. I like it's a shit show around here. But you know,
Um, any any guess at how many years it'll be until you tour again?
oh god. I mean, that's it.
Or is it
That's
done?
part.
Or have you just been like, is it like, okay, well, that part of my life is done now and there will be no more of that?
Well, you know what they say about love, Doobyis? It's sweet surrender.
Okay. I think I've heard
So
that once or twice. Sure. Yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's gonna come. It's really like who wants to throw a boatload of money at me? Really, is what it's gonna be. It's like, well, if it helps put my kids through college, I'll do it.
Sure.
Um, it's just that it's not like I'm not some kind of top tier talent,
I mean,
demanding all this stuff.
I'd say you're arguably top tier talent, man. Come
Okay,
on, give yourself some fucking
sure,
credit here. Like,
top tier talent.
yeah.
Market forces being what they are,
You
not in
may
this.
not be a household name, but I think you're top tier talent. Talent
I appreciate.
wise,
I
the
appreciate
talent is
that.
there. Yeah.
I think I agree with that.
Yeah.
That like it's not like I'm in a position to be like, yeah, I'll 5 grand for I'll do a 45 minute. set for 5 grand. Like I can't really leverage that. But but yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see. I think I think it'll happen again. I just have to put it together
Yeah.
properly. And I think that the one what's funny is the one of the hopes I had with some of the projects I was working on is the Fresh Kills trio, which I keep trying to push that. Whenever I get asked about bookings, I try to push the trio because it's like that particular iteration of what I do has an impact that I haven't kind of felt in other iterations. Like
Mm,
I do a great beat set. Like I'm gonna do a more entertaining beat set than your average 404 beat player, beatsmith.
yeah.
Um, just in terms of the set, I'm not
When I
better.
saw your live set, you were rolling your face across your
Yeah,
pads at one
yeah.
point. I
I'm
was
not
highly entertained.
I'm not a better producer than some of those guys. I'm not saying that, but my live show is definitely like more dynamic. But like when we did Occam's Blazer in Europe and we were 6 piece. I mean, that shit was crazy. I mean, the power of that and like so yeah. So like I would sort of say that I think I could see the Fresh Kills trio being something that pulls me back out onto the road. Because also that live experience performing is like really different because it's largely improvised, and so which is very much outside of my comfort zone and it freaks me out, and so I find it really rewarding to do it, like um
Damn, you're improvising with like so the Fresh Kills trio, for people who didn't see the last time you were on here explaining and talking about it, you
yeah.
hire different musicians to play with you from whatever city, right? Am I right in thinking that?
Yeah, like if I can, if I'm on the road and I can connect with musicians in a town, I'll hire a keyboard player and a sax player, and I'll just look for the baddest ass motherfucker improvising motherfuckers on the planet, and just because there's no time to practice. And then
Yeah.
so you have not only do you have to be good, you have to be kind of like fanatic, like wildly overconfident, and just like you kind of have to be a little bit insane, to do it. And
Yeah, that sounds pretty brave, man, to jump on stage with people you haven't really met before and, try to do
yeah,
an improvised set too. Like,
I mean, I want to be fair and say I'm probably improvising the least because, of course, like I have to set up the beat stuff, and I sort of have to know what's going on, but
sure.
they can be free. We headlined, sorry, the trio headlined the Pecan the Pecan Street Festival in Austin, and I met the guy. I mean, I set it up so that we had a show before the show, so that we could kind of get used to one another. But we did like a 20-minute set before we had to do a headlining festival stage set, which
Yeesh.
was insane, totally insane. But it's kind of like David Bowie says, right? It's like if you're not kind of uncomfortable doing it, then you're
Right.
probably not in the right place. And I have spent a lot of my career being too comfortable in the sense of like I practice until I'm not anxious about going on stage.
Ooh, ooh. I've
I
got a
probably
really good segue off of what you're
yeah,
saying there,
I
bro.
nail too many things down.
Yeah. Okay. So, I saw a post where you were talking about how to beat, uh, I don't know, not writer's block, but producer block, beat block, or whatever. To
Yeah,
beat that, you have to, well, or you have been leaning back on boom bap. So,
yeah.
is that an example of you kind of being like too stuck to your ways? Because I kind of thought about it and was like, I don't know, I might recommend people try something new to beat like
To
that
beat
block.
people. Yeah,
Yeah. Because I think sometimes you get that block from trying to do the same thing too many times, and it
yeah.
starts, you hear it and you go like, ah, this isn't, you know, this isn't what it should be. Yeah.
Here's what's funny about what you're saying, and this is an interesting difference is that because beat block is about this idea that like producers have to keep making beats. Like there's almost like there's like quotas or something that and there isn't, but like there's this sense that like okay, if you sit down to make beats you have to make beats every time you sit down, or every day you got to pump out a certain amount of beats or something like this. And so it's about making sure that you maintain your output, which is some kind of like ridiculous capitalist dumb like
Yeah.
you know
Always be productive and,
yeah, it's silly. So what my post was actually about was leaning on things that are more safe. Uh like I can make I don't want this is gonna. I want to make sure I'm careful how I say this. I can make a DJ Premier style beat fairly quickly.
Sure.
That doesn't mean it's easy. That doesn't mean it's good. That doesn't mean that DJ Premier isn't one of the greatest producers of all time, which he is.
Well, I wouldn't have taken it that way because, it's a DJ Premier beat. So he laid the blueprint, and now that's a
Yes.
blueprint people can follow on how to make a DJ
Yeah.
Premier beat. Yeah.
There are techniques that I can fall back on when I'm like, I don't know what to do, right? But the problem then becomes, and I've had this conversation with other producers where a producer will say, like I used to say that I really only make 6 beats. Like I've only ever really made 6 beats. Like every single thing I've ever produced has fallen into one of 6 particular categories of either like tempo or pocket or feel or whatever.
Right. Do you
And
find
so
MCs always ask you for the same types of beats? Because I've talked to other producers and they're like, I think it was Shiloh actually last week was saying something about how like he doesn't have any more bangers left, and everybody just always is like, "Well, no, play me the bangers." And
yes.
he's like, "I got a library full of smooth beats that nobody fucking wants because everybody just wants like some horn stab banger every
Yeah,
time."
I have to admit that I feel so lost in terms of like what people like. I have no idea, and I'm kind of I think because I'm an engineer, and as an engineer you're basically serving other artists like it's like whatever they want. So in that way I can do a lot of different types of stuff, which is why falling back on certain techniques isn't as big of a deal because if you can make if you have 11 or 13 or 20 different cookie cutter things that you can make, no one's going to catch on. Less people are going to catch on that it's the same kind of beat as something else. Um, so that is to say that like I really don't know. I am so lost with what people like of the beats that I send out and don't like. Like I sent a beat to Sharky. I sent a bunch of beats to Sharky, and he picked one of them that he sent to Roshan. Now I've been sending beats to Roshan. Roshan and I are working on a bunch of stuff. Roshan loved this beat. And I'm like, and not that I'm not happy. Like, I'm happy that it made it back to Roshan. Like, I'm not like, oh, I wish I didn't give it to Sharky. I wish I give it to Roshan. I'm not saying that.
Sure.
What I'm saying is that I didn't know to send it to Roshan. I wouldn't have known because I just didn't think. But when I was listening to Sharky, I was like, well, he'll probably like this. And then it turns out that the Roche would have loved it. So I am honestly, man, like, I don't know what the bangers thing is funny because that used to definitely was more of a back in the day thing for me where like everybody wanted bangers all the time. And I was like, are you guys listening to albums? Because albums don't sound like this.
Yeah. You can't
And
make an album out of a bunch of those kind of songs. Like,
no,
no.
but do people? I don't know. I think the other thing for me is like I'm sending beats and I'm sending beats to people from such different ranges of like sending beats to Fat Boy Sharif, right? Like the kind of beats you might send to him are just like out there fucked crazy like gargled madness, right? And then I'm gonna send to Sharky, I'm gonna send more drive-by shit, like so I'm all over the place.
Sure. Yeah. Um I mean, I think like it is really tough to guess what anybody would or wouldn't
It's
want to
impossible.
rhyme on, man. Like
It's
uh
impossible.
I had a producer, Jimmy Burnett from Edmonton, asked me like, "Hey, I want to make a beat pack. Can you help
I
me?"
love
Like,
that guy.
he's really dope. Yeah,
I
shouts
love
to
that.
Jimmy. I only bring up people who I think are really dope, and
Dude,
he's one of them.
shout out to that guy. I need to do records with him. We talked about it, and I still haven't, and I'm an idiot because I love him.
I'd love to hear the collaboration, man.
Yeah.
He's good people too. But yeah, he was asking me like, so if you know artists who you think would mesh well with my sound, like maybe hook me up with a list. Or I think I offered him the list
Yeah.
earlier because I was compiling a list of everybody I played last year. So it was like 500 and I think 11 artists on this list. And I
What?
looked at it. Yeah, I played
You
500
can't send, but you
Canadian
can't send
artists, brother.
somebody a list of 500 artists to collaborate with.
No, so I didn't send him that. I looked at
Yeah.
it and was like, "Okay, but, like, how do you go through that and, like, even guess who may or may not fucking work with his sound?" Like,
Yes.
I don't know. I didn't wanna just pigeonhole too many people into like, well, this guy rhymes on slow beats or like, because that's the thing is like, it's not like Jimmy is incapable of making kind of up tempo beats either. You know, it's just, it's impossible to really nail anybody's style production wise or lyricist wise down. And then you end up hearing like lyricists who you're used to hearing on hype shit do some slowed down shit or some more serious shit. And you're like,
Yeah,
oh, okay, like that works too. It's like you were saying, like, for the collaboration, uh, one MC, one producer. I agree with you. I think that the producers should be pushing a little bit harder and saying like, "No, I really want to use this beat. Fucking figure something out, Mister Rap."
yeah,
Like,
yes,
you know,
yes.
um, and
They're a
yeah, I
they're
think
big
that would
examples of
help, man. That would help a lot of
yeah.
MCs. Yeah,
I mean, I think too though, like you should throw a bunch of left like curveballs, like just because like this, I bring this up as the example. It's the record Freddie Gibbs and Madlib
yeah.
and I love that record, absolutely great record. I might have brought this up on your show last time too, that like the only thing that I didn't like about the record's amazing, but can you imagine Madlib sending you like all this amazing stuff, right? And God love Freddie Gibbs, but like he picked all the soul sample stuff. And it's like, okay, great. Like the songs are great. Like I'm not hating, but like, can you imagine the wild stuff that Madlib that Freddie passed over? Like,
Yeah.
give me one. Give just like pick one outlier. Pick one just weirdo thing. It's kind of like I'm trying to think of a better example of this too, but like numbers on the boards, right? Like that is a left field joint. Like it's not like there was a whole record of stuff that sounded like that. He tried something different and it was the craziest joint, right? Like
I can't think of that one off the top of my head. What are we? Who are we talking about? Is that Freddie Gibbs and Madlib
no
track?
no 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 numbers
So
on the boards oh god, not Malice. I'm sorry.
it's all good. Somebody
Clips
will know
Clips.
it.
It's the Clips cat.
Oh, okay, okay, yeah, I loved that album. I just don't
Numbers on the boards. Anyway,
typically know the names of tracks, but yeah,
the
that
record
was a
sounds
dope album.
broken record, it sounds like a broken loop. It sounds amazing. And it's like, Madlib sent Freddie the stuff, but like pick one, my guy. But anyways,
Yeah, no, I hear you.
I dig-
I did have written down here, and this is a good time to segue to it. Who's, in your opinion, what's the best MC producer combo for i- all time? I guess let's just go all time. Who's the greatest MC producer combo of all time?
like fuck, dude.
Yeah, well, that's what we're here for. Put you on the spot a couple
I
times.
mean, if it's true that Rakim produced a lot more of the records that he was on than we know, I think Rakim has to be mentioned.
Okay.
Um, my era coming up, Black Milk was amazing and blew my mind. But I know not everyone rates Black Milk as the MC, but I think that's unfair. Um, Obviously, he's an amazing
Super dope
producer.
producer. Yeah.
Yeah, producer. But like that Tronic record is like go back and listen. That thing's incredible. Like that record's incredible even now. Sounds amazing. It sounds futuristic now. Um. Oh, that's a really tough one, man. I hate these
You
types
you
of.
came up with some names there. That's fine. That's, ultimately I think like caveat is it's tough to declare a best art or whatever. I get it. That's-
I mean, I don't even want to mention Kanye's name. So I can't.
Ugh,
That
yeah.
guy's destroyed his legacy. But
You really
uh,
did do that. Yeah.
he really fucked the dog, man. I know I'm also forgetting things that I shouldn't have forgotten about MCs, producer MCs. Um, who am I forgetting here?
But so
Uh,
I did want to follow up with who's the best like combo themselves producer MC, but I was
yeah.
asking actually like as a duo. Who's the
Oh,
best producer MC duo?
oh yeah, yeah.
Any names spring to mind there?
I mean,
Because you did some for the, like, combo guy who produces
obviously,
and MCs.
Gangstar.
Yeah,
Um,
that was
let
who
me.
popped in my mind first too, was like,
Yeah, I
you
mean,
gotta
P
say
Rock.
Gangsta, right?
Yeah, Gangstar. You gotta say P Rock and CL Smooth. You gotta say Just like, do you mean yeah, duos?
Yeah, duos. Yeah.
Um,
I mean, modern ones too, like Madlib and Freddie. They did 2 albums back to back, didn't they? There's a sequel to that,
yes,
I think. Yeah.
yes.
So
No, that's true. That's true. But those records are great.
yeah.
Um, I mean, Alchemist is, you know, Alchemist has some on there too. Um, oh, that's another really tough one. I always just go back to Gangstar, but I know that's a, that's such a been there, done that question.
Yeah.
Uh,
Sometimes the right answer is the right answer because it's the right
uh,
answer.
I want to say Blue and Exile,
Okay.
probably.
Yeah.
You know,
Very dope. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Those are good picks, man. I like it. Oh, we kind of breezed through. I didn't get to ask you this question, but I feel like, sports dads are gonna if dad played baseball, he's gonna teach the kids to play baseball.
yeah,
And I've seen like a video of you with one of your kids tapping
yeah,
away on the pads, or you're
yes,
using their hands to tap away on the pads.
yeah,
It was
yeah.
cute. But are you gonna continue along that path, or do you think like music just kind of will be something that will kind of come naturally to them because they'll be around it so much, or like will you specifically at some point like, okay, kids, it's time to learn how to start making music?
I feel like I've been thinking about it in the following way. Insofar as we have to keep our kids off screens and phones,
Hmm.
right? Like that just seems like the growing amount of data on, like somebody posted this thing about in 2010 was when computers were introduced full time and iPads into schools, and cognitive decline literally started to take a dive right there.
Yeah, I don't doubt it. Yeah,
We hear about Silicon Valley CEOs not allowing their kids to use the apps they themselves develop and stuff.
that was
So
what I was gonna bring up. Yeah,
yeah, of
even
course.
the rich kids don't get to use that shit. They get
So
sent off to some private school with a pencil.
yeah, I feel like I'm gonna look at it that way. I'm gonna be like, okay, like if you want to be on a screen, then you better make a joint.
Yeah.
Or like, and I think also like I'm sort of building the basement out as like a retro bunker basically. So like, okay, like if you want to play video games, they have to be 8-bit, at least for a while. Like you can move up to 16-bit when you're 16.
Let them graduate through it like you
Yeah,
did
yeah.
growing up. Like,
That's right.
yeah,
You can use my 12-bit sampler when you're 12.
yeah.
Um, so yeah, like, and that's the other thing about, keep having the keyboards out, and like, I've got guitars upstairs, trying to play more records. My VHS collection is down here. So I was like, yeah, you can watch a movie, but you got to use the VCR. You can take anything out of my VHS collection and put it on.
Yeah.
Um,
I was
so
just
it's something.
thinking what you were saying about like how you've got to rotate because 2 kids awake at the same time right now is a lot. But eventually, I think that formula will kind of flip for
Oh,
you, whereas
that.
twins who are 7 or 8 or 9 or whatever can kind of run around and play together, like, and entertain themselves together, and
Oh, I got a
be
three
a little bit more out of your hair than they might be if you only had one 7-year-old.
We dude,
Uh,
we have a three-piece in the making. There's no question. There's gonna be dad band jams. Like it's on.
yeah,
I
dude,
I can't.
maybe they'll be the MC producer, combo. I can't think of any twins who are, that's novel. Maybe that's the push that they need to get
Hells yeah.
noticed these days.
Hells yeah.
Yeah. All right, man. Well, I still wanted to ask you a couple of these how important is questions here before I let you go.
Right. Right.
Um, Tried to come up with a couple. I didn't go back and see what I did or didn't ask you last time. I have some that are like stock questions for producers or whatever. Do you remember? Did I ask you this one? How important is a producer tag? You don't have a producer tag, do you?
No. No. That's a really tough one, man. Over the years, it was always a discussion because it was like, well, what do you do? And like the thing is, okay, I got paid. Like I used to get paid to remove producer tags straight up. Like in the mixtape era in the mid aughts,
Uh,
cats would I would literally get called because what I would end up doing, I would because Cats would buy the J Arms CDs that had all the J Arms instrumentals, but of course, all the J Arms instrumentals had arms, arms, and
Arms and the flyover.
that's
Yeah,
right, the jet
yeah.
flying over.
I've got them. I still have them all saved on a hard
Yeah.
drive. Yeah.
So I what I did was I would take the beat and I would figure out the exact BPM, like exact, and I would grid out the beat. And then everywhere there was a J Arms thing, I would replace it exactly with a chunk from the exact same thing.
Yeah.
So cats were coming to me just to redo their instrumentals if they weren't recording with me because I could make their instrumentals sound like, like they didn't have to have the tags in them. And so that bit always begged the question to me, like, well, am I going to put tags, mathematically place tags throughout my beats so that that can't be done? Like, you'd have to have
Take a lot
tags.
of thought. Yeah.
Oh God, I was like, I can't do it.
That's
And
funny, man.
I
I was just asked last week to I was recording somebody here. I've got a little home studio set up, and buddy sent me a bunch of beats, and I loaded up one of the beats onto Ableton. There's this much space at the beginning of it, just silence. I was like, "What is this? What the fuck is going on? Did the producer just like do this so that I can't put it on grid unless you buy the beat or something?" And that was kind of my guess that he had just stolen this beat from someplace. And he was like, "Oh, there used to be a tag there, so I just chopped it." I was like, "You motherfucker!" Yeah, MCs are the worst, man. But they're
I
not
feel
making any money, so they don't want to pay for beats. That's
there
what
you
it
go.
is. Yeah,
I'm gonna say make your tags musical so that people want to keep them in.
yeah,
Maybe that's the middle ground.
yeah. That could work. Um, how important is keeping whack MCs off of your beats? How picky
Not
are you with that?
not as important as it sounds, as the question is leading. As most MCs that you would ask that question to, they'd be like, "Oh man, we can't have whack MCs." Um,
Well, I think just talking to different producers over the last few years here doing this show, like some guys don't give a fuck and they'll sell the beat to anybody who has the money to buy it. And, they'll
sure.
put their stuff up on BeatStars and lease it to 10 guys and whatever
Yeah,
else, right? Like that's one mentality. And then I've talked to guys who are like, well, Shiloh last week was saying that, like, no, I'm putting all these on remix projects of big famous people because I don't want some whack MC fucking up the beats I made. I was like, cool. I don't know. I don't think there's a right answer really, but oh,
yeah. I mean, I just feel like anything that you're really worried about can get worked around anyways. But I would say that one of the things that a pet peeve that I do have about this stuff is, and where the whack MC quote unquote whack MC thing comes into play more is if you're doing a lot of vibing out sessions, like this happens, and people, I don't love these types of sessions. I don't have them. I don't host them really. But like, if you had a bunch of people come to the studio, hey, let's write and hang and do stuff, right? And then everyone's getting in the booth and doing some stuff, and the beat's going whatever, and you've got this beat that you really love. All it takes is one of the whatever 4 or 5 people in the studio to do something on the beat that you really don't like, and the song sits there. I mean, I'm
right.
telling you, the amount of hard drives that are taken up with songs that will never see the light of day because they don't have the balls to take their cousin off the fucking hook. You know what I mean?
Yep.
That
Yep.
that that is when you need to not keep whack MCs off the beat at the time, but have the balls to have the conversation to be like, listen, man, you're still working on your art. We love you.
Yeah.
You'll get there. We'll fight for space for you at different times. This isn't the time. But the thing is, everybody's too polite and nobody really wants to have that conversation. And so, the stuff sits. And I think that's stupid.
Yeah.
Um,
Keep people's cousins off of beats. I was just ranting yesterday about how sometimes, like every week, there's like a bingo board of things that I hear every week listening to 130 independent songs from Canada. And one of those things is like the lady singing on a hook who has no fucking business being on the hook. And every
yeah,
time I hear it, I go like, I mean, I hope you got laid. Like,
yeah,
like I hope that whatever you were after putting her on
yeah.
there, like worked out for you because like it doesn't sound great, and there's a lot of that. Keep cousins off of beats and keep the girl who tells you she can sing off the beat. Like,
The other thing about your question is that your question also touches upon a thing that and I don't know whether we talked about it last time I was on the show, but a very important kind of spectrum of experience that you have in music, which is on the one hand is business, on the other hand is friendship, and where on the
mm,
spectrum does this particular experience lie? Like, what the fuck are we doing? You
Right.
know, like, and look, man, like, there are so many, disagreements and conflict and fuckery and all this that are about that very problem because people don't know how to navigate where they are on that spectrum compared to what's going on and where everybody else is. And look, I've been doing it 25 years and I still don't have great answers to those questions. I feel like every other day something similar comes up where it's like, well, you charge this guy this and this guy this. And I'm like, well, yeah, that guy's got fucking 4 kids and it is what it is. And,
And he
and
wasn't supposed to tell you what he paid.
yeah,
Right.
you're full
Uh,
time. What the fuck?
yeah.
So I don't know. Like, you know what I mean? And oh, like I thought we were homies. It's like, well, what's the price of being my homie about? Like how detailed a fucking rate card do you want? Like, oh,
Yeah.
if I for 5 years, what's the homie discount? I mean, I don't fucking know. Like it's the range of experience is just it's too much to really, every situation is different, and that's not the answer anybody ever wants to hear, but it's the only one that really answers the question.
It's often the real answer.
I mean, what is a whack MC? I
Yeah.
mean, I've heard cats that are like that have got serious numbers that I would not want on my records, but what the hell do I know?
And I've
Like
also heard MCs who I really dislike, and then I've heard other MCs who I respect like that MC, like the guy
sure,
that I dislike, right? So it's not just like, oh, once you know hip hop, you won't like those guys. Like that, you can't really apply that because
no,
everybody's
not at all.
got their own taste.
Absolutely,
Yeah,
absolutely.
yeah,
I love that the repulsion about middle of the road stuff. Like that's always my favorite area of taste and repulsion thing where there are people that hate MCs that are like not bad or not good. They're like decent, right? Like, but there are MCs and there are other people that hate decent MCs because they're not whack enough to be laughed at and get numbers being crazy,
yeah.
and they're not dope enough to actually have anyone really actually like their music or pay for it or go to a show or whatever. Um, and I feel that sometimes. I understand that. Hell,
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot of MCs of all varieties out there. How about here? This will be the last one of these that I ask. Well, let's do this. How important is clearing samples? Fresh kills.
uh, I don't think it's that important personally. I think it's a problem that you'd love to have if a whole lot of things go right, and so
Sure. Do you think
so
sampling is going to have to go back to the trunk? Because like Spotify just partnered with the sample snitch website, whatever that is, the who
who's
sampled it or
yeah,
something. Yeah,
yeah.
they fucking bought it. So like AI is just going to get better and better, and those sweeps are going to get more and more accurate. Like I think maybe the days of sampling and putting stuff out to the masses like that uncleared might be ticking down. I don't know. You don't get that feel?
The one flaw in that argument is that first of all, um, when we're talking about well, there's a myriad of things, but the problem with that logic is that if Spotify, for example, were to take down every single song that has samples in it, that would hurt them to the point that they wouldn't do it because they would literally get rid of hundreds of millions of users.
Yeah.
They would lose fuck tons of revenue. This is the same flawed logic. My apologies. I'm not saying it's your logic. I'm just saying this is the same thinking around when CD burners came out, right? It's like, why is Sony selling CD burners that we're going to use to jack Sony artists? And the truth of the matter is that Sony makes fuck tons of money,
Yeah.
like 30x times money on CD burners than they do on Sony artists. So they don't give a flying fuck,
Yeah.
right? Not to mention the fact that all the relationship they have with artists or contracts where they don't actually make all the money anyway, despite the draconian fucking language of their contracts. They make all of the fucking money from the CD burners. So yeah, I don't believe that's going to be a problem. Not to mention the fact that like I have not seen sampling done as wholesale and ridiculous and as shamelessly as I have heard on streaming and Spotify.
Yeah. Yeah,
And
I hear stuff sometimes and I'm like, "How did you get Nas's voice on there?" Like, you've got Nas saying, "Whose world is this?" as your hook? Like, what just
nobody
happened?
and the thing about it, I think the thing about it is, and I don't know, Spotify and DistroKid, they would never admit this, but there's definitely some kind of internal machination that is a decision making process about, okay, well, let's make sure that we're going to keep this guy's subscription, right? And we're gonna make sure it's not flagged. He's not gonna get enough plays for it to matter
Matter.
anyway.
Yeah.
So we're gonna take his fucking $15 a month, right? And let him do whatever the fuck he wants, because who the fuck is he? He's some white suburban kid,
Yeah.
you know? So yeah, I don't really see it going that way per se. I do feel like no one cares about anything unless it's making money. So that's really the only thing you have to worry about. I mean, I definitely think that film and TV is definitely the territory of where you do need to be careful. You really need to be careful, because you can get blacklisted from licensing anything if you try to slide a sample through, because the amount of liability on a movie is tens of millions of dollars versus the liability on a record.
Right.
It's just not what it is anymore. They've accessorized music to the point it doesn't really matter. So I don't know. I mean, I think that I mean, TikTok hilariously is the answer to everything, because TikTok doesn't give a shit about anything, right? Instagram seems to care, but my understanding of Instagram and Facebook caring is that they only care insofar as they're in business with I think they're in business with Sony, and I think they're in business with Universal. So like, for example, during COVID, there was Universal did a deal with Facebook,
Yeah.
and a lot of their streams were getting shut down.
Yeah.
Um,
Universal, I think, also did a deal with Twitch where Twitch DJs can sign up for the DJ program and play their stuff now and not be
right.
flagged. Yeah.
So it just has to like, they just want their cut. They're gangsters that want a bit of the dime bag that got sold in the park, and so they'll figure that out, and then it'll work itself out, because there's no point in, like, there's no point in people don't this is the thing about freedoms and shit. Like, people don't want to get rid of your freedoms. They only want to get rid of your freedom if they can't make money.
Yeah.
Like, it's really the only thing. um and listen, there's a level of appreciation I have for you not asking me political questions that you dared to ask other idiot MCs that you've had on the show.
Dude, it's my favorite thing to ask people political questions. Yeah.
Well,
I
listen,
know people don't like talking politics, but my opinion is that we should fucking talk politics sometimes, or we end up with people who nobody wanted elected getting elected.
I just listen. I don't know what we might have said something similar. And listen, you're probably right not to ask me these questions, because my blood is already boiling at the thought of it, and I would froth at the mouth, and the show would last way too long.
I'm in
Um,
no hurry. I mean, if you want to froth at the mouth about the impending invasion of our sovereign nation here, I'm here for it, bro. I mean, like, I do you think he's gonna do it? That's the big one.
I,
Who
I,
fucking knows what is or isn't real anymore, right?
I want to speak to we can talk about that. And make sure you come back to it if you want the answer. But I want to just say the following thing:
Okay.
there are small town white. I'll say Canadian for the sake of this. There are small town white Canadian hip hop people that are making music that have political views that are entirely nonsensical, and they're antithetical to the very art and culture and processes and things that they do. And
Yes, and
name
that's why I ask those questions, bro.
we're
Because if I am talking to one of them, I need to I wanna throw them under the bus, quite frankly, and so, yeah, if people can't answer those questions in a way that doesn't get them thrown under the bus, then, like, have fun under the bus. I don't know, maybe don't fucking believe a bunch of shitty things ultimately, you know?
there's
Uh,
something crazy to me that, like, the further west you go, I mean, I don't know what the fuck is going on out west, but like I have a lot of, and I'll call them friends. They're friends of mine who are down the rabbit hole, and
Yeah.
it's like, dude, like, and listen, I live in Toronto, and I'll say this about myself too. There's a lot of culture in Toronto. Okay, like I have a lot of friends from different backgrounds and all that. That doesn't give me the that doesn't give me any kind of cultural pass to say and do a lot of things. That's not what I'm saying. But a motherfucker in the middle of nowhere has even less
Yep.
that might try to claim. And listen, I resent the New York centricity of culture. I resent the LA centricity of culture. I don't think that because something's from New York, it's automatically dope. It is not. That's not the way shit should work.
I mean,
Just
New
because
York fell off a long time ago. They've sort of redeemed themselves or whatever, but like there was a long time there where in New York it was like, what the fuck are you guys doing? Like they
there's
just
always
threw
been
their own sound out the window and went chasing south and shit. Like New York was fucking up for a
yeah,
while.
I mean, look, I'll be the, I resent that if someone's from New York, they're gonna have a louder voice or they're gonna have a stronger claim to certain cultural things. But unfortunately, that is the world in which we live in. Like I don't want some kid from Edmonton trying to tell me, about cultural appropriation. I just like, dude, read a fucking book, man. And like, I don't know. Yeah, look, we're in a time of a cult of a bit of a cultural. I don't want to say reset because that word's gotten co-opted in strange ways, but these are the growing pains of white culture, whatever white culture fucking means. And look, they are. It is painful. Okay, it is, but it's not our time right now, and that's okay. That's okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And so everyone needs to fucking chill, right? Because the thing is, if you don't chill, then you will get run over. Like if you don't relax a little bit, you look stupid, right? You will get canceled. You will look stupid. You will be on the wrong side of history. Your music will suck,
Yeah.
right?
Well,
Like,
and your shows will be full of shitty people. Like it just
yeah,
really like who wants, I've
yes,
those kind of crowds. There are some artists who I can't even blame the artist, but they just have managed to attract and here in Western Canada, it happens.
absolutely it does. Yeah,
You know, there's a lot of popular white rappers in Vancouver and there's only white rappers who are popular in Vancouver. Like I've very recently found a few people who don't fit that description, but
yeah,
like it was sort of weird to me that was like, okay, so what's going on out there? And then like, Rick Ross comes to town and the Hells Angels beat him up. I was like, this isn't hip hop, guys. This is that's a white supremacist gang. Like we can't fucking Canada. So, I'm seeing Toronto commentators talking about like, oh yeah, Drake got him. And it's like, did you see the guys who beat him up? Did you hear them yell a racial slur at him? Like, what the fuck are you standing for? That's the
wow.
other thing, bro. I didn't intend to talk about this today, but um, what the fuck is up with Aiden Ross and Ricky Dredd being the guys who are known for Canadian hip hop in American culture right now? Like these guys are popping up on fucking podcasts with people that Aiden Ross, he streams for 2 years and then he has Trump on his fucking stream. Like what is going on? Something is dirty as hell. Uh
Yeah.
you know, I don't know if it's
Well,
that it's easier, there was a thing about like Russian money going to
absolutely.
Canadian podcasters.
Sure.
Are we sure that like, Aiden Ross and fucking some of these like hip hop accounts that are only ever talking about like, oh, look at how the city's gone to shit because there are homeless people and like, really trying to like harp on these like conservative talking points. Like, is that really what it takes to be the biggest fucking hip hop blogs or
I mean,
voices in Canada? It's fucked up,
yeah,
man.
it's the most unhip hop thing ever. I mean, look, if Netanyahu wants to be on your podcast, like it's not because you have a great podcast. You know, it's not because you're like a super talented, you know,
Yeah.
journalist and everything else, and you have a great platform and shit. That's not what it is. And if you're I mean, you're too stupid. I don't even mean too stupid. I think. Look, I mean, the more desperate times get, the easier it is to co-opt everybody, right? Which
Yeah.
is exactly what,
Prey on their
which,
greed, right?
yeah, which is, again, I don't want to do this like the giant conspiracy fucking thing, but like it's obvious that no, like that the powers that be don't want a class war, and that's why they're like empowering masked thugs to harass immigrants because as long as they keep us infighting down here, we have
Yeah.
our eye on the Epstein files. It's like it's just so fucking stupid. And
100%.
it is what it is. And I don't want to hear, just to get back to what we were talking about before, like I'm not happy with Carney, okay? I'm not happy with him.
Yeah.
Um, I resent being fear-mongered by the right into voting for Carney or liberals because I'm worried that if I don't, then the fucking evil empire will win, right?
I'm not so mad that he won as I am just that the NDP disappeared. That the
Yeah, no,
NDP was decimated as a result of him winning. That that's fucked up. Now we have the
yeah,
same two-party system America does where you gotta choose between 2 guys who you don't really fucking like, yeah.
yeah, yeah, it's fucking bullshit. And I just I resent, and I did this. It was the last election too. I really resented the fear mongering because, of course, and I don't want to throw CBC under the bus because they do great work, but I don't want to hear about the like they were talking about some xenophobia party or whatever. I can't remember what the party was, but they were straight up Nazi party, and they were getting coverage. I'm like, they're not gonna win a seat. So like, why am I watching this shit? Like, I'm watching it because it's salacious. I get it, but I'm also being shown it so that I am fearmongered into voting for the safer. Right? I can at least make sure that these fuckers don't get in by
Yeah,
voting for this. So
yeah.
I really resent the strategic voting thing.
And
Although I say
as
that I
much
am.
as I hate strategic voting, I think that there was a clear better choice who I wish would have won down south, like,
Of,
uh,
yeah, of course. Yeah, of course.
right? And too many people, like, clutched their pearls and was like, "Oh, well, she does this or that," and like,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, but she's not a straight on full blown Nazi who wants to take over the fucking world, bro. Like,
yeah.
Jesus Christ.
And I do think the last thing we should say to get back to the music is, and I was saying I want people to get funky with me on records and stuff, but I also feel like I want to hear some protest music. I want to hear some music that fires us up.
Yeah,
Um,
I've been saying that for a while now too.
yeah, rage
Yeah,
is a powerful thing. It's funny you mentioned escapism, and the thing about being in the studio is an escape, right? Um, but and the studio is meant to be a safe space so that people can be creative and feel safe, right, in order to express themselves. But it's more than that. It's not. The studio isn't for escapism. That's not its purpose. It is an escape and it is safe, but it is meant to be safe so that you can be fearless, not
mm,
so that you can be safe on
yeah,
record,
yeah,
not so that you can make safe shit. It's supposed to be so that you can be unafraid to be fearless and fucking push shit forward. That's the point. And I live in a city, unfortunately, where a lot of the stuff that comes out of this town is safe as hell, like elevator music shit. And I look like artists that I really love, the artists from the city that whose releases I was really looking forward to, and then I'm listening to them, and they're like these OVO wannabe records, and I'm just like, and I'm not even hating on OVO. There's places for those records. I'm into it, but like I've heard voices that were fiery and powerful get neutered.
yeah.
They're neutering themselves on records, and I don't want to hear that. Like I'm happy to hear some OVO shit that's dope. Like I'm happy to hear and to listen to a Party Next Door record. Like I'm okay with that. But I don't want to hear artists that I formerly were fired up and awesome and like had this energy and identity and stuff get softened and neutered and homogenized by the shit.
It
That's not what the studio is for.
It's chasing the bag, right? Like everybody is after just trying to get paid and they want to do the thing that's going to appeal to the most people and they
Yeah,
want to follow the guy before them who showed the way or whatever. So like I get it why they're trying to do it that way, but like there's easier ways to make money, guys, than try to be Drake number 2. Um like seriously, go to school. Go, I don't know, whatever. Go get a job. You'll make more money than that.
yeah,
This music stuff is not an easy way to make money. People think like, "Oh, look, he sold 100 fucking vinyls for 75 bucks a pop. He's rich." Like, no, he made 750 a pop and he bankrolled that fucking 100 vinyls for 5 grand. Like,
yeah,
this is a hobby that the
yeah,
people who are doing it pour their fucking heart and soul and blood and sweat and tears into.
yeah.
And, you know, it's not an easy bag. It's just it's ridiculous that people are out here thinking that like, "Oh, this is gonna be my ticket," by copy pasting what the other guys did, especially in a world where we have Suno AI, which is like some monstrosity that can fucking make these songs from scratch in 4,
Not do-
4 of them at a time in 20 seconds, like,
they're not making songs from scratch, but yes,
well, yeah, you know what, I know what you're saying, but
yeah,
yes, uh, that
back in my shit.
they're taking what's already been done,
Yes,
they're repackaging it
yeah,
and
yeah.
choosing the most popular elements of everything and rolling it into one. So like you can't do that as an artist anymore. Like if people want to hear all the popular elements rolled into one, I think like AI is going to beat you. You got to do something new. You got, in my opinion,
Insofar,
anyway.
yeah, I mean, insofar, I do like this analogy because insofar as pop music sounds homogenized, AI will win. AI will continue to move forward and have more artists in the top 20 on
Eh,
Billboard. Stuff.
it'll make a motherfucker of a pop song for sure. Like,
Oh, well, it's even more than that. I mean, look, well down the rabbit hole of stem separator tools.
okay, yeah,
Esther and I had this conversation about how what's funny about stem separating is that it's imperfect in a way. And what it does is when, like, if you take the drums out, or if I take the keys and horns out of something, it's going to have this weird sound to it because it can't do it perfectly. So there's artifacts and warbling and weird things.
okay.
But of course, we kind of like the sound of this, right? We like the sound of it being kind of warped and warbly, and like we buy plugins to make things sound like that are
Yeah.
sound clean or whatever. And so again, insofar as we like the sound of AI doing shit, we're going to continue to allow the evil empire to march inch by inch forward. And so, I don't know. I don't know. I mean, we're gonna have to wait until it gets really bad. We're clearly in a cultural regression of sorts. We're entering a dark age. We just are. It is what it is. It's like the Enlightenment will eventually come, but usually, as in human history before, the Enlightenment came after things got pretty, you know, like we had the
They
Spanish
get pretty
Inquisition
bad first. Yeah.
we had the Spanish Inquisition. We were burning witches. I mean, we were doing some pretty barbaric shit before somebody was like, "Yeah, I don't. No, this isn't really vibing with the."
My
Anyways,
my wildest, most optimistic dream is that what's happening in America right now will somehow lead to an overthrow and a revolution that will be that resurgence of culture and freedom and that things could emerge like a phoenix out of the wreckage of whatever is about to happen here.
nice, huh?
Um
Wouldn't that be
because
nice?
you gotta hope something, right? You gotta hope something.
Sure,
Um, but yeah, man, we went down the rabbit hole a little bit. I appreciate you being willing to talk about anything.
sure.
Um, can I get you to describe your local scene before I let you out of here?
My local scene. I mean, my local scene is two little babies and my wife. My local scene. Um,
I mean, you talked about Toronto and what you hear out of Toronto and stuff. You know the local scene.
yeah.
You know what's there.
Um, I don't know. What do I say? Well, look, I'll go here. I'll go like the pattern select beat community here is really strong. Loop sessions, pattern select. There's a number of really great producer events that have sort of like helped foster a really incredible producer scene. So like there's a lot of young producers that I'm really excited about. Guys like Shay and Josh Grant. Um, um,
Are these guys putting out work? This is the thing is I feel like a lot of the time producers get into these like producer collectives or whatever. DJs get into Scratcher and stuff, and then like the outside world just never hears from them again because like they're happy with their scratch buddies scratching, or they're happy with their producer buddies
yeah.
swapping beats around and stuff. But like, are rappers rapping on these beats? Like, are or for that matter, are they putting out instrumental albums or whatever? Like,
What's interesting about your question too is there is an element of like the beat scene from an international cultural standpoint was born out of this idea that it was anti MC, it was anti artist.
right.
It was this idea that we didn't need rappers or artists, like that the beats were art enough as well, and we
Well,
are
and
enough.
that's why I added the caveat that it could just be an instrumental album, but like,
Yeah.
put it out to the world still.
Well, but here's what I think is interesting about the question is that I think that it's true that the scene is sort of anti that. Like people want to do their beats, but I have had this conversation with a number of producers that I really love. Um, Josh Grant, to his credit, has done records with Jordan and Jay O'Mears and other local cats that I really love,
Dope.
and they started to make more records. But like Astro Mega, one of my favorite local producers,
Well,
and one of
sorry,
my
just to rewind, Josh Grant. Yeah, he did him and Jo did like a Josh and Josh album or something,
yes,
right?
yeah,
Now that I think of it,
yeah,
okay. I didn't recognize his name off the top of my head,
yeah,
but yeah.
yeah, and
Okay.
awesome. So Josh has gotten other, but I've had conversation. Like, I've had this same conversation with Astro Mega and Celine, who are two of my favorite producers. One happens to be a younger cat. Astro's a bit more of an OG, and they both have similar stories where they're like working with MCs it sucks, and, and like because I've come to them, I'm like, who are you guys doing records with? Like, can I give you some people to send beats to? Like, let me get you sending beats to some dope cats because like you should be getting on these records. And they just don't have that. That's not a thing that they're anxious for, right? Like and whether it's like again dealing with the MCs is a pain in the ass, or whether maybe it's just a thing where they just feel like it's co-opted or whatever. It's just not worth it to them. I would beg to differ. I personally feel like more of these cats need to get out there and start making records. And they need to make records with people that are from outside the scene too.
Mhm.
But I think that part of the then the last thing I'll say is there is and I'm not saying this about anyone in particular, not Selena Astro Mega, but there is uh I don't want to say insecurity is the wrong word. Um, but there is there still carries the thing where that it's just a beat. It still carries that with it, like it's not a song somehow. It like for some reason, you know, a beat tape is still a beat tape. A beat tape is not an album, right? I mean, it has a lesser value in our minds, and it shouldn't. But those stigmas, despite the fact that the whole scene is about dispelling those,
Yeah.
it still gets carried along. Like Memorex used to make this joke with me all the time. He'd be like, "Are you gonna do the fucking Price is Right again tonight? Really gonna do that? You've been doing that for 20 years, bro." And I was like, well, listen, I mean, I don't have hit records. Like, I don't have a Fresh Kills hit record that I can play every night.
Yeah, that's a surefire pop from the crowd, right?
I mean, that's a hit record, right? But that's only a hit. It's not a hit record, but it's a hit record in the sense that it's a record I play every night that is recognizable to me, that I have turned into a record that is about my mythology as a performer in a battle, everything else.
Yeah. Yeah.
A lot of producers don't think about themselves that way. And I think it's a shame. To your point, to answer your question, I think you're absolutely right. I think a lot of these cats need to do more. Shay,
Hearing you talk about the sentiment though of why they don't put them out to the world, I respect and can relate to it.
I don't
Because
want to say put
because
out
a
in the
lot
world.
of the time
No,
art is not necessarily something like too I don't like, it doesn't have to be something to, like, push to as many people as you possibly can at all costs all the time, right? Like, there sometimes it's just art for the sake of, like, "Well, I wanted to make this thing, so I made this thing." And the other thing I can relate to is that a lot of MCs are shitty. There's a lot of really egotistical, there's a lot of, I mean, there's something about hip hop that draws a certain type of egotistical asshole to it that, like,
Yeah.
thinks that he can, you know, that he's gonna be the next big thing, and, like, yeah,
Well,
there
the MCs have to like braggadocio is part of what an MC is one of the qualities an MC has to have, and whether or not they believe their own hype or they're drinking their own Kool-Aid is the degree to which they're easier or harder to work with, right? I mean,
but
I
that combined with no bar to entry is where it gets fucked up, because you've got guys who just, like, are like, "Well, I gotta be arrogant because 'cause I'm an MC," but it's like you have no business being as fucking arrogant as you are, yeah.
yeah, I mean, look, like just from my own experience, right? Like my when I did the record with Ghetto Socks, Treat of the Day, and I did Decisive's Vaudeville, okay? This is maybe for another episode. And I have so much love for both those guys.
Yeah.
Ghetto Socks and Decisive, both those guys. But at the time the Junos happened, I I hated we had it was such a beef. It was the most miserable. It was arguably the most successful I had ever been, right? At the time I turned 30. Two of the four Juno nominated records I did in my like little apartment, right?
That's awesome, yeah.
Two of the four rap recordings awards, two of the five were done by me. And I was the most successful I'd ever been. And I was the most miserable, my friend. Absolutely, positively. And it was because of the way that I had been treated through that process. And again, I'm not trying to throw those guys under the bus. I have so much love for them both. It was a difficult time. There was a lot of pressure on us, but it was an awful time for me. It was an awful, horrible time for me. And so when Astro Mega and Celine are when I come to them and I'm like, why are you working with MCs? Right. And they're like, that are like more MCs, right? They're like, I don't know, man. It just seems like such a hassle, and people, it's the money thing. And again, the money friendship spectrum we talked about, like where that negotiated, So I feel their pain there, man. And again, it's hard for me to like. I want to beat the drum and be like, yo, like you guys have important records to make. But then again, yo, Astro went out and put out an amazing instrumental vinyl. Like he put on vinyl his last record, and it's awesome.
Oh, that's
But
legit. Yeah,
yeah,
that
it's not
counts then. Yeah.
yeah, but it's not for, you know, uh, it's not for MC. I mean, I guess the other answer to your question is why aren't there more MCs at these beat producer events? I mean,
Right,
what
yeah,
the hell is going on? I
that
mean,
makes sense. Because
why
they're too busy stealing them off YouTube and deleting the fucking tag at the start or whatever, right? Like,
it makes zero sense to me that if you're an MC looking for production, that you wouldn't go to some of these events and just like
I
watch.
yeah.
I mean, good lord, like if you sit through a Josh Grant set, how do you not get down on your knees and beg that guy for beats after he comes off stage, right? Like,
Yeah.
and credit to the guys and gals that are doing it. Like Shay's doing some cool shit with a Dario and some other artists. I got a lot of love for Shay. I want to shout out 6'2", who has come storming back into the scene with like an amazing new record
Can
and
you
a
see my question list? That's the or do you remember last time I asked, describe your local scene and then who should people pay attention to on the
oh
scene? I was gonna let you skip it because you've already shouted out a bunch of different artists,
no,
but go ahead, man,
gotta
shouts.
shout out 6'2", and I mean, look, 6'2", he's an OG. He's done his thing. He's not a young up and coming cat. So like, obviously, I would want to shout out younger cats, but I want to say what he's doing. I mean, what he's always done has been special. In terms of the way he's treated his art and the way he's looked at it. He would have a lot of the similar sentiments politically that we were talking about. He's somebody who I've always looked up to. He was a mentor of mine years ago, but his new record's amazing. The design and packaging and the way he's marketed is absolutely genius and cutting edge. He's bought a lathe, like he's putting his money where his mouth is in terms of like he's
Ar
gonna
the vinyl lathe.
he
Wow.
went to Japan and where it had people teach him how to do it. French he's starting a whole thing. He's got a show coming up February 13th that like all my favorite producers are on. Um, and I just love what he's doing from a community standpoint and from an art standpoint. He's got a really cool like online interface where you can like get breaks and sounds and special stuff, and like he's done a really good job with that. So very excited about what he's doing.
Nice.
Um,
I think more artists who play musicians should start doing that, putting out the sample packs or whatever, right? Like,
for sure.
yeah, if we can't get away with sampling big famous stuff anymore, then like, can still dig through sample packs and find stuff to sample. I'm
Yeah,
sure.
why not?
Yeah,
I'm trying to think who else. Uh, oh Lord,
it's
I'm
all
just
good.
as bad. I mean,
You've named
I
a lot of musicians, and
know you're
you're
gonna come out.
probably running on less sleep than you
Sure.
should be. Yeah.
Yeah,
No plans for shows or tours coming up. I wouldn't assume that we can plug.
I've got so I have a record with Meyer Clarity coming out in April with on UrbNet that is like I'm really excited about.
It Oh, I have that written on my list of questions too. Crazy Stupid Boys. Is that the lead single for that project?
Um,
Or is
I
that a
it's
one-off?
basically it's a Lucy that we put out to be like, "Hey, we're doing stuff,
Okay.
keep an eye out." But the album's gonna drop we're gonna start dropping singles next month, and,
I liked it, man. That was an upbeat banger that you guys made something
different
people can dance to on that one. Yeah.
different. I was
Yeah.
yeah, it's funny, I'm glad you mentioned that 'cause I think people kinda missed that. Again, I was happy that
I didn't
Clary's
miss it. I
no,
played
but
it
Clary
on Atzik.
I appreciate it, but Clary's been holding the torch while I've been doing daddy duty, so
Yeah.
him, but our record's awesome. I'm really, really excited about it.
Do
We are
you
gonna
Sorry,
shows.
do you know the other 3 MCs on that track? Like, because I looked at those names and was like, "Who, and who now is
Yeah,
on this with these guys?" Like, what?
well, wait,
They killed it, like, they're good, but
yeah,
I'd never heard those names before, I don't think.
yeah, well, Prolific's one of those dudes, he's been around for a long time. He's been a Toronto cat for a really long time. I think there's a lot of different Prolifics is the problem, so I think he gets confused, there's confusion there.
Right.
But he's one of those dudes that I found that I actually really dig his stuff a lot, that, like and I feel like uh and he's gonna have to forgive me for saying this, but, like, I feel like Toronto has beaten him down. Like all of the flaws of Toronto, all the things that suck about Toronto, he has found himself. His career has kind of found his way on the other end of it, where he's a cat that needed to hit the road years ago. But my heart goes out to some of those cats because there's a lot of talent in Toronto that just kind of got like, whether it was being gate kept out of, or like caught up with like dumb scenes, and he didn't either. It's just that like he's more talented than his career might suggest to me.
Okay.
And well, Tragic from Philly Moves is one of the other cats on the record.
Okay. I'm
Um,
gonna pretend that I do so that I look cool, but I don't know who that is.
Philly Moves, go out of Toronto that was really doing cool shit for a while.
Okay.
Tragic's an old homie of mine. And then Far Out, I can't shout out Far Out enough. Far Out, I want to say he's originally from Kansas City. I met him in Chicago. I can't remember if he's from Chicago or Kansas City, but
Okay.
um,
He's American.
he's American. He's dude. He's such a fucking tour de force. He's hilarious. He's one of my favorite people that I ever met on the road. And we were gonna do a whole record, and then he drove all the way from, I think he was St. Louis at the time, and he got turned away at the border, and so he couldn't come to Canada. And
Okay.
so I was like, oh my god, so I cannibalized our record. So the song on my album with Phoenix Pagliacci was actually a Far Out song that I took him off and put Phoenix on because I was like, I love this beat so much, and I'm never gonna get to finish the song with him because he can't come here.
Yeah, okay.
I don't know why we couldn't do it online. I don't know. I miss his face.
Oh, hey, there's okay. I promise you this is the last thing I'm gonna ask you. How important are in-person studio sessions between
Yeah,
producers and MCs?
I'd like to say they're not, but they are.
Yeah.
They are. Uh, I mean, I'm going through it. I have a record I'm working on with Sharky right now, and Sharky took a bunch of the instrumentals I sent him and stem separated them so he could do these arrangements.
Like, we're
And
talking about Shark the SOB, like Sons of Boot
yeah,
Rap? Okay, yeah, okay.
yeah. So we have a record coming out later, whenever. But he took a lot of my instrumentals and stem separated them so he could do these cool arrangements. and then he sends me the vocals, and I'm mixing them with my other session, and so my mixes sound really different, and we're at this impasse, and I'm like, fuck, I fucked this up. I like where I literally gonna have to be like, you need to be in the studio so that we can work out. Like, what do you like from my version? What do you like from your version? How do we put this together? Because it's a total puzzle now. So it's stuff like that for sure. And look, everyone feels more nostalgic and better about stuff they do in the room together. It just is what it is. Like having those moments and being, is a really important factor. And there's just stuff that's not on paper that happens
Yeah.
that's just important for the relationship build and like building stakes and caring about the material, because if you think about it, you got to push a record for 18 months after it comes out. You better really have the more history and like
Memories and
mythology around,
inside jokes and everything. Yeah.
and like you got to get drunk one night and fall on your face and like, have a laugh about it, or get into some big argument and then hug it out at the end, or have a huge disagreement about a movie or some shit, this kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
so yeah,
Yeah. That makes sense, man. Okay. Very last thing. Where do people find you online? Where can they follow you?
at Fresh Kills everywhere. FreshKils.
Easy.
Instagram. I'm still on Facebook, but not personally on Facebook. Um, and yeah, I got to get my website back together. But yeah, I do want to mention just a couple things I have because I'm working on. There's a number of things that I'm working on that are coming out, so I want to mention that
Okay.
if that's a question coming out.
Yeah.
You have yeah. Um, yeah, the record from Meyer Clarity and Fresh Kills that's coming out. It's called OCDC. It's out in April. Record with Sharky coming. Record with Roshan on the works. Record with Stonham, aka Royce Birth,
Yeah.
is done.
Oh, dope.
A whole record with Noah 23 is done, and it's kind of crazy. And then I have a record with Taemu Denku and Mad Dukes and Bofat. That's done. Um, and then
Damn. These are all going to be this year
I don't know.
or
I hope
potentially? Okay.
they are. My record's taking a backseat to all that, as is a beat tape that I've been working on called Star Damage. And I feel like I'm forgetting somebody. So
Is your
record,
plate entirely full or like
yes.
what if somebody who is like a good MC who we both like and have sees this interview and thinks to themselves, I should work with Fresh Kills. Jimmy Burnett maybe watches
Oh,
this and he's
I
like,
gotta
I should
send a
work
beat
with
back
Fresh
to
Kills.
internet. I mean, that's long overdue. I screwed that up. I
Uh,
think what happened was him and I really connected out in Edmonton, and then I listened to his stuff and I was straight up intimidated. I know that's gonna sound ridiculous, but like I listened to it and I was like, holy mother, like this stuff sounds really huge and like I don't say poppy, but like it's just big sounding records. And
yeah.
feel like I'm making dinky little funky hip hop beats, and I'm like, I don't know how this is gonna work. And then I just kind of like, but anyways, that's my
Do you ever
definitely
do like collab production? Is that a thing that producers can do? Like,
absolutely.
okay.
Yeah. Love
That
to do way more of that.
okay.
Uh,
Interesting. I've never
I'd love
even really
to,
thought of that.
yeah,
All right,
for
man. Well, shit. This has been fun. I appreciate you spending so much time and covering so many topics with me, man.
Thanks for having me, man.
Yeah. Always a good time. Anytime. If any of these albums are coming out, feel free to pester me about them because otherwise I might just listen to one or two tracks and then miss the rest of them.
Don't
But
about it.
yeah, always
Take it easy.
welcome back and yeah, come back and talk
Give
about them if
yourself
you want.
grace. Absolutely. I appreciate you, man.
All right, man. Peace.
Take care.
All right, everybody. Thanks for hanging out and watching as I talked to Fresh Kills there. That was a good time. For me, always happy to talk to Kills. What do we got? So next week, I'm talking to another producer. I think Starcore is out of Vancouver. I could be wrong. Maybe it's either Vancouver or Toronto. I should probably know this off the top of my head before, when I'm 7 days out from interview with the guy. But Starcore is a well-known Canadian producer who a lot of different MCs have worked with over the years. Junk and him put out an album last year. It was dope. Talking to him next week on Tuesday. January 27th. February 3rd, I talked to Edmonton-based artist Just Jordan. Looking forward to that. Picking his brain about his marketing regime and how he's managed to build so much momentum. February 10th, I talked to Toronto MC Zeppo. February 17th, I'm hosting both Asun Eastwood and Lord Juco. We're going to talk about Two Birds, one of my favorite albums from last year. Very dope. Dropped late in 2025. And then February 24th, Michael Shabazz. I believe he's a St. John's artist, but he is very dope, and I like a lot of the stuff that he says, not only on record, but also just on the internet sometimes. So looking forward to finally meeting him and talking about his upcoming music, I believe. But these things always happen Tuesdays here on Twitch. Appreciate people coming through in chat and, just sharing some energy with us. And if you've got questions, you can always feel free to ask those. Keep coming back Tuesdays. Fridays, I am generally streaming as I listen through all the new releases from the week, like I was telling Kills about. That's always a fun experience, not always because it's like, oh, this is 130 songs I really love, but sometimes because I don't love the music, and it's just fun to be like, nah, that's not the one for me or for Atsic. On I go. But so that's Fridays over on Twitch. I'm going to start doing more studio streams on Twitch. I did one a couple of weeks ago and should be able to do some more here coming up. I've got beats of my own, beats that were sent over to me from the homie Josh the Butcher that I need to put some words to here. So I'll probably be working on that in the next few weeks here anyways. But yeah, come by, say hi, find me on social media. Doobyis.com is the hub for everything that I do. Appreciate you coming through. Catch you on the next one.